Well, hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox. You're on the panel tonight as the one and only Bridgeman, joined by JFK. Evening, JFK.
Evening, Oxshire. Evening, Bridgeman.
Oh, can I say a big good evening to you guys? Huge good evening to you guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Just a quick update for your good self, Bridge. A lot of people in there, we don't want to go into too much detail, but you're feeling better.
Oh, yes, getting better every day, stronger every day, pal. Getting better. Thank you very much for the kind thoughts.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. And what about you, JFK? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. I'm feeling even better now that I've managed to hear my good friend Bridgeman's feeling a bit better, so that's perked me up as well. But I'm tickety-boo.
Well, this is the first show of 2020-21 season. I don't think it could last as long because we've not finished the last season yet, but we'll be starting the next season. I don't really know. What a mess, JFK.
It isn't half. Cup finals at Christmas, and I heard Fox saying 9 months. God, it might end up a 13-month season, mate. You never know what happens. You don't know what's in the corner.
And we're still in Europe, Bridge.
Aye, we're still in Europe, and you know that's never even been spoken about. This team of ours, this club of ours, is still in Europe. I don't know how many months that is we've been in Europe.
Well, last June at the start of July, it'll be August, so that'll be 13, 14 months, mate. So that must be
incredible, isn't it? Just incredible.
Must be a record.
Well, another team for another part of the city would probably be claiming it as a record.
Aye. Good point, mate. I don't know what you're talking about, but good point.
No, of course.
Mm-hmm. You could think of, but that team, maybe they should be looking to put themselves under the spotlight. Anybody's on Twitter, have a look at the spotlight, and you'll maybe see if we committed the biggest crime in football. Well, I'm a Dutchman. Anyway, as I said before, follow the money. Right, where are we? We're going to hear from our manager, Steven Gerrard. We're going to tie up the pre-season. We're going to talk about the news that came out today about new sponsor. We're going to talk about Castore. I know you got a large medium JFK ready to roll for the weekend.
Definitely, mate.
And then we'll look at the pre-season, and I'm sure one of the callers will touch on Alfredo Morelos.
Yep.
Yeah, how's that sound, Bridge?
That sounds absolutely brilliant, Messi. Absolutely brilliant.
Right.
Good show. Looking forward to it. Good show. Looking forward to it.
So we're back for 2020-21. So it's all about callers, this show. So what's the number after we hear from the manager, JFK?
It's 0141 356 1972.
Where else can you join us, Bridge?
Well, you can join us on Skype at rangersradio.online, and the bold Old School Blue and or Fox will bring you in. Make sure you're okay. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. The technical team, yeah?
The technical team, wonderful technical team we've got.
I wouldn't go that far, mate.
Okay, pal.
But they're no bad fellas, the two of them, you know. Fox is doing all right, mate, at the moment. He's doing great. They'd be interested in Fox, only Bridge.
Where is Fox?
Right, listen. Get yourself in mute. We'll hear from the manager, get his thoughts on the whole of pre-season after the game on Saturday, and then we'll open the show for callers. All right, Bridge? Take it away, Old School Blue.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I think it's been a positive pre-season. We're not conceding many goals, and we're showing real good creation in the final third. I thought we were better in the second half today. I thought in the first half, something wasn't right with the mentality and the organisation of the team, but we addressed that at half time, and I've seen a massive improvement. So again, it's another strong positive win. We understand Coventry are only a couple of weeks into their pre-season. I thought they looked really organised and worked really hard for Mark, but in the end we found the answers that we needed to win the game.
Yeah, Coventry played a very compact system and dropped very deep at times. I guess good practice for what you might face coming up in this season.
Well, that's the reason why we put these type of fixtures in, to try and give us that opportunity to rehearse about what we're going to face over the course of 60 games if we qualify for Europe. So we're really pleased and thankful for Coventry coming up and approaching the game right, and I think they're a good team. I think they'll be all right this season, and it was a real good challenge for us and one we've passed in the end.
What are some of the other main positives you'll take away from tonight?
Well, I think a lot of individuals look ready. Both keepers have been fantastic. I think from a defensive unit point of view, we're keeping clean sheets. I think Connor's shown real good leadership skills and really driving that back four to clean sheets. I think we're looking strong in the full-back areas. If you look at over the course of the pre-season, I thought they could have been a little bit better today in terms of outplaying when the ball came to them. Midfield, we're okay. We're looking strong. Joe Aribo's jumped out of the pack and been really, really strong in his performances, and we're creating and scoring goals in the final third. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is obviously our options in the 9 position. It's something we're trying to address, and it's the reason why I had to try and be wise with Alfredo today and get him off the pitch as soon as I could.
Great to see Alan McGregor back between the sticks tonight. We've seen plenty of John McLaughlin in pre-season too. Fantastic competition in that area.
It is. We all know what Griggs is about. He's been fantastic for us since I've walked through the door. His consistency levels are there for everyone to see. But the good thing is John's taking the challenge to him. He's played a couple of full games and made some outstanding saves, and between the both of them, they're keeping clean sheets, which is great for me.
Just finally, Leon Balogun added yesterday, which was great, and Philip Helander back involved today, which is also brilliant to see. Yeah, just trying to get Phil as many minutes as we could today in a safe way. We're trying to get a friendly in place for Tuesday to try and get him some more minutes, but that's not confirmed yet. So the idea then will be trying to get him 45 minutes. I think realistically, it could be touch and go for Phil next week, but we'll see how he goes next week. But delighted to get Balogun in, because it's another real strong option for us, and he'll challenge the people that have got the shirt, and that's what I want. I want real competition for places, because hopefully that'll bring the best and consistency out in individual players.
All right, thanks for that. JFK, what I've got to say is, people will have their own views on Steven Gerrard, and they'll differ. But I think he's a very, very honest guy when it comes to saying how the team played. He gives you pretty much the way we see it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. He's done that after every single game, doesn't he? Pull any punches. He tells it the way it is, and that's really refreshing. No use hiding. When you hide, then that just gets everybody's back up, especially the fans. But he tells us we're playing bad, and obviously he tells the players as well. But yeah, very refreshing, and it looks a happy bunny, the same as us at the moment. We'll see how that goes on as the months go in front of us. But yeah, again, he's we can sit and listen to him all day, mate. Absolutely wonderful.
All right, Bridgeman, he talked. I'll go to your side of the game with the defence. He gave praise and Golson and the 2 goalkeepers. I think that's particularly fair. We'll question Golson, but in the friendlies so far this season, he's been maybe our most consistent player in the 4 games we've seen.
Yeah, I would actually take that back to the beginning of last season and say that Golson has been our best defender for the whole season. There are times when he's let us down, but the truth would be, overall, I would say he's been our best defender. And he leans on him. He leans on his experience. And the guy's come back from, well, what he could call a really serious ailment, and got himself sorted out. And he's actually brilliant. He's playing brilliant, I'll tell you that. That's not to say he's not going to come away with a 40-yard pass that goes 10 mile out of the way, No. We're critiquing what we've seen. Yeah. We know how it's no serious and it's no, if you like, real football. But we can only talk about what we've seen. But fair that we've done well. 10 goals scored, none conceded. He's right. Coventry made it difficult. I thought in the second half of the first half they shaded it. First 10 minutes I thought it was going to be a cricket score, JFK, as I said on Saturday. But I think they shaded the second half of the first half. And once we got the goal, 2-0, it could have been 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, of course it could, And listen, like yourself, we're not, and the other guys, we're not going to get carried away. I'm reading all sorts of things, and I'm not decrying that my fellow Bears and Bearettes out there are saying, watch out, the Rangers are coming. Let's not go over the top here. We played really well in every game, some of them in the whole game and some in parts, but we've got to be really pleased with the performances. I've got to agree with what everybody said about Connor Golson. I think he's come right onto a game, and I'm really pleased. I'm really excited about seeing what Aribo is going to bring to us once the big picture starts. He's really playing really, really well. So, yeah, without going over the top, Oxford, we've got to be really pleased at the way the team's shaping up, and any more players that are brought in, we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, very pleased indeed, mate.
I'm sure that young Stardog will be in. He's been beating the drum for Aribo since maybe the last season, right at the start. His quick feet, his confidence, maybe he's bulked up a wee bit, but it'll be interesting to get people's thoughts. And of course, at the end of the interview, he left us with we're a little short on the number 9. Obviously, Defoe's injury, if it is a hamstring, will be 6 weeks. We've not heard any news for the club today. If it's a hamstring, it's 6 weeks. It could be 8 weeks at his age. God, that takes us up towards Christmas, hard to believe. But we do need options in the number 9 position. Anyway, we're going to open up the phone lines, Bridge. New teeth for this season. I don't know what. I'll open them up for this year, the start of 2021. And the first caller off the rank tonight is the one and only Port Bear. Evening, Port.
Evening, lads. How we doing? Hope you're all well. Bridgeman, great to hear you sounding back to your cell, mate.
Oh, thank you very much, Port Bear. Thank you very much,
mate. Jimmy, good to hear your cell, mate. I know.
Cheers, buddy.
Back to the band back together, as they say. And looking forward to a good season. You can listen in there, lads, intently to what you're saying. I agree with quite a lot of the points you're making in regards to, the team ahead. Listen to the manager's interview as well, which I found pretty interesting. He pretty much says what we feel. I think I personally feel, by a fanboy of course, but Steven Gerrard, he sounds like he's a fan as well, and he talks with the heart and he talks like a fan. Just if you see it the same way we do, mate, if that makes sense, and I really respect that. We are like number 9 positions, and like I said on the show the other night, on a wee special show we had, Joe Aribo, mate, is going to be the main man this year. I really do feel that. Connor Goldson looks like Connor Goldson we see in Europe. I know James looks a lot better and keeps the game simple and sticks to what he's best at in defending. So, so far, Oxford, and like you're saying, it's a pre-season friendly we've seen. We know we can take what we're seeing at the moment, but so far so good, mate.
I can go back to Goldson. I mean, we'll never know, and you never know as a fan. You'll never know if he's been carrying anything, any knock or anything. So maybe that long layoff they've had, basically 4 months, which is a long time. If you've got any wee knock, it will give time to heal, but we'll never know. We'll never know if that was the case. But he does look refreshed.
Look at the amount of games, mate, he's played in the last 2 seasons, Connor Goldson. He's very rarely injured, and like you're saying, if he's carrying in, he's still been putting himself out there, mate, and putting himself in that first team, because I can't remember. I really can't remember any time Connor Goldson's been out in the last 2 seasons, mate.
Oh, I know. We need to check that out. I'll have a look for you, mate, see if I can get the stats on what we'll do that. But anyway, we've been joined by young Stardog. Evening, Stardog.
How you doing, guys? Is all right?
Hi, Stardog.
Good man.
How's everybody doing? You right?
Aye, getting there, mate. Getting there. Just obviously listening to what you were saying there. Pre-season was pretty much all we could ask for, mate. We get 4 good games. We get clean sheets. We get good results. Just the elephant in the room, mate. Isn't it? We need to kind of address tonight. What do we do? Are we going to go to Aberdeen with no strikers? Because no conceding goals as well.
I'm sure we'll come to that as it was developed. But we talked about Aribo there. You've been banging the drum about him since you first seen him, mate. And these quick feet, he's getting to the edge of the box, quick feet. He started actually, the Braga game was the start of it. It seems to give him confidence to turn that into goals, mate.
Aye, Oxford. I think we've seen glimpses of it last season in games, but he kind of drifted out of games as well. When the team went out of form, he was kind of one of the players as well. But it always showed glimpses, mate. And what I like about him is he can do pretty much anything. He can shut the ball down in midfield. He can take players on for midfield. He gets his cell into the box. He's no shy, mate. He gets his cell in about tackles as well. So he's everything really you're looking for. He's a kind of all-round midfielder. And what we've got there's a young player, mate, that's determined to get his cell into the box and get his cell goals this year. I think we'll see a different level to his game. I think he's fun comforting the team. He's definitely a first-team player for me now, mate. He'd be one of the first names on the team sheet for me. So I get good confidence for things like that, mate. Obviously, Kent and Hadji as well, chipping in with goals, mate, is a good thing. But
obviously, as we probably will come to later on in the show, mate, maybe what's going to happen in the next couple of days is going to put extra pressure on these three boys to get extra goals, mate.
Don't believe everything you read in the paper, mate. What I will say is, just come back, you mentioned Goldson. Wait till you hear this. Bridgeman, you listening?
I am indeed.
Right, he's been with us for 2 seasons, basically, and he's played 105 first-team games.
Aye.
105.
Wow.
31 games in Europe he's played.
That's a good record, isn't it? That's so. Nanny's where I would have thought that. Some of the way I've criticised him at times, you know.
Does he beat Carlos Cuellar's record then, Oxtair?
No, he didn't quite manage. I think he done 60 odd that season, mate.
It was like 67 or something, wasn't it?
It was something, but what I'm saying, 105 in 2 seasons.
That's
it's
incredible.
Remarkable, really, you know. But 31 games in Europe. Some of the players had to be with the club for 10 years before they played 31 games in Europe.
Aye.
It just shows you the experience you're able to get at Rangers, Oxtair. You know, Connor Goldson's probably achieved more than 2 seasons he's achieved his whole career. I don't mean that in a bad light, mate. But it just shows you the platform Glasgow Rangers gives to a player, you know, that's wanting to make a name for himself and got the bigger and better things. So, well done, big man.
That actually surprised me. A great point there, Port Bear, but I was reading some of the commentary fan site before and after the game, and obviously before it, all fans, they were saying, if we can hold it, we can steal a goal, we can win the game, because they want their team to win as soon as the same way we were. But some of the guys were saying, wait a minute, this team were playing against Porto, Feyenoord, Braga, some top sides, and getting them a game and beating them. We've no right to be in the same part with them, and I thought that was quite refreshing, to get praise for other fans of other teams.
100%, mate. It shows you how far we've came since Gerrard's come in. You know, where we were playing before to where we are now. And Coventry became a championship team, and they look decent, mate. I've got to admit, they look a decent side. They're young, hungry, and I think, like the manager says, for what I've saw, they'll be all right at the championship. You know, but Rangers are going from strength to strength, mate. Rangers are now seen as a big scalp for anybody. You know, definitely 100%, mate.
All right, we've been joined by one of our favourite callers. He's our cuisine correspondent. He's been known to tuck into a buffet. The one and only Rudy Bear. Evening, Rudy.
Hi, Oxford. How are you? Bridge, to hear you back, mate. I'm glad you're
here. Thanks, Rudy. How are you, pal? Okay?
Aye, everything's good here, Bridge, man.
Magic.
Yeah.
You might find this hard to believe, Rudy. He's been off his food for a couple of days.
Aye, hello to all the rest of the guys as well. Stardunk and Mark and Jimmy. Hi, guys. How you all doing?
How you doing, mate?
How we doing, Rudy?
Rudy, mate.
Summer. There's bits and pieces have happened.
Aye.
We've tied up some players. We're slowly building a squad. We've replaced the goalie. The goalie looks okay so far.
McLaughlin's been really impressive so far, Ox. And I think the years he spent down in the English Premiership and playing in English football and stuff like that's going to. I think it'll bode well for for us. You know, he's come up here and. I think maybe Alan McGregor's maybe looking over his shoulder a wee bit now because he's thinking, wait a minute, here, I've got real competition here now, because I think that's what McLaughlin is. I'm not saying he's on a par with Alan McGregor, that's not what I'm saying, but I tell you, I don't think he's far behind Ox, in all honesty, as far as goalkeepers go. I think he'll be, I'm quite sure Steven Gerrard and the coaching staff will put all their trust in him when he's needed, I don't think a minute. I've been impressed with him. And you were talking about Aribo there. I've been really impressed with Joe Aribo so far, so I have, and he certainly, as you said, looks like he's bulked up a wee bit. I'm just absolutely amazed that for such a big guy, the feet that he's got on him, how quick he is, how quick his feet move, it's amazing. He's in these wee tight corners and stuff, and he dances about players and he manages to get back at it. And a couple of goals that he scored has just been absolute crackers. But he's got to carry that on into the season, Ox. He's got to do that sort of, like Pittodrie at the weekend. These are the kind of games he's got to step up to the plate now, as far as I'm concerned. He's done it in the friendlies. Great stuff, doing it in the friendlies. But he's really got to...
The last time I seen a guy with good feet like him was Fox, then a quick step up with Savoy.
Aye, well, I'm saying nothing. I've been to the Savoy. But so he's got to carry that on the Ox into the league season and shows that he's going to be one of our players for definite this season that's going to make it count when he's wearing that jersey and he's in the first team, as he will be most weeks, obviously.
Stardog.
Yes, mate.
I know you were in. I've no use the word morning because that belittles it, but I know you were upset when Big Katic got his injury. And we thought, we're going to have a problem here at centre half. Highlander's appeared from nowhere because we hadn't heard how he was doing. All of a sudden, the gaffer's talking about getting an arm game under his belt and potentially playing on Saturday. We signed a new boy on Friday. Great contract, I think. We've given him a year. And if it goes well, we've got the option to extend it for another year. We've been a bit more sensible with that. Big Katic will be back hopefully sometime. We've covered the bases quite quickly.
Aye, we've definitely covered the bases quickly, mate. As soon as Katic got an injury, we hadn't heard really anything at all back from Highland on how he was coming on, and we know he hadn't had any minutes of that, so we hadn't heard anything. But it was good to see the big one back on all the weekend, mate. But I mean, it's a strong signing, mate. It's a good contract as well. I know Wigan were on a bit of a run there. I think they had one of the best formed defences in Europe, mate, and he was part of that defence. So he's got experience there as well, mate. So he's a decent enough player. Again, though, he played decent enough for me. But we've seen what happened with Katic last season. Golson seems to be the main man, mate. And after kind of looking at it a bit, out of all the defenders, probably rightfully so. But what happens with Edmondson, just because Highlander's fit, does Highlander just come straight back in the team, and does that affect Edmondson's chances now of the first team, even though he's played fairly all right for us?
You've got to accept that you're being developed, JFK, aren't you, in your time. He's young for a centre half. He's also, Highlander's got a big advantage to him to play on the left side. He's left-footed.
I agree with you there, but I'm not convinced about Highlander, mate. He's been out. I know that everybody's been out for 4 months, but he's been out for 8. Maybe obviously the injury that he had obviously cleared up very well, but I'm still a bit suspect about him putting him in against the Sheep.
He should only play on Saturday if he's fit, mate.
He should only play if he's fit. I understand that, but I'm not saying that the big boy Patterson is 100% ready. But I mean, I don't think he's that far away. But I mean, we've got to remember here, as you said, I mean, there's a learning curve, and if part of the learning curve means that I've played 4 games in a row and now I need to drop out the team, then he's got to accept that and not put the petty lip out there and just accept that the gaffers decided to put somebody else in his place. I'd be happy for Highlander to play, but I'd be equally happy with the boy Patterson playing it there as well.
Patterson?
Edmondson, sorry, mate. Edmondson, I'd be quite happy for him to. But either or, some people say we're better going for the experience, but I'm still not convinced about Highlander, mate. I've not seen enough that would say to me that he's for us. I don't know if he's injury prone, but we will see.
Only time will tell. Bridgeman, you were centre half expert. Any thoughts?
Well, you probably all know how I like Highlander. I think he's when he's on the park. Look, he's no match fit. Under no illusions. A yard and a half to 2 yards to pick up on there.
Yeah, I would agree, mate.
Yeah, so I would doubt very much if he's going to play him on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is. But I would just doubt very much if he'll play. But good luck to him if he does. But don't be surprised if he only lasts an hour or less than an hour, and somebody comes on his place. That's what I would expect, because you're going for sort of, shall we say, pre-season friendly type football, right up to top league, sort of top positions in the league sort of stuff. So that'll be tough, very tough for everybody, including our goalkeepers. Either of the goalkeepers, I never got a chance to say too much about them. I thought they were excellent. So I think the manager's done very well. I hope that Highlander goes on there and does what he's done and sort of picks up where he left off last season, because I think he's a smashing centre-half. I really do.
Well, I don't know if it was just coincidence. When he was in the team, it was arguably the best run of form, Rudy.
It certainly was, Ox, and I still think that he could possibly be one of your best, if no best centre backs. I think Goldson's done really well, and he seems to be a favourite for Steven Gerrard, which is fine. You know what I mean? All managers have their favourites, so it'll be Goldson and one of the other centre backs, obviously, for most of the games this season. I think he's left-footed. He's very cultured, Ox. He's a very cultured centre back for what I've seen him so far. But I understand what JFK is saying about him. It hasn't. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. None of us have seen enough of Helander yet. 8 months is a long time to have been out of football, been away for it with injuries and stuff like that. Then he's had the 4 months, you know, that the league, there was no football in the league and stuff like that. So I get all that. Edmondson, for me, I really, really like him. At one point in particular against Coventry, the ball comes out of the tap of Barisic. Barisic he's in no man's land, and as quick as a flash, Edmondson was out to it. One of the Coventry players, I think it was a wee Coventry winger, was flying down the wing. He had a head start on Edmondson, and it surprised me with the pace Edmondson's got. He got right across to it and knocked it out the park. And it kind of dawned on me just then how quick the boy is. He's really fast.
He's quick, mate. He's really quick. He can spray it. He doesn't look comfortable with the ball. His feet put bare. But what worries me is a centre back, he ain't the greatest header of the ball, and obviously he might be trying to develop that at the moment.
No, obviously you've actually touched on it several times on the show. You know, he tends to ball watch. The name of the saying, coming high, he's caught under the ball. He doesn't go and reach it either. He's not attacking the ball, and that's simply coached, mate. You know, we're not talking major development issues here. You touched on a minute ago. He could learn that new ball. That's simple. Moody touched on his pace, which he's got in abundance. But I think let's talk about the new guy as well. Here, Balogun. I think Balogun, what I've seen of him, you know, in his pedigree coming to Werder Bremen, playing for Mainz in the Bundesliga, joining Brighton, which I know didn't have the greatest times there, but then go to Wigan and Stardog touched on it, having a great time at Wigan. He's 32. He's probably a great age for a centre half. You see him mature a wee bit better, but as the older they get, you know, so George Edmondson makes a good place to learn after very good international players about him. Helander, I know Connor Goldson not doing international caps yet, but Helander and Balogun have. So, you know, we're quite strong in that position now, mate. In my opinion, young Lewis Mayo there, who also picked up, you know, a lot of attributes for these guys, but I think we're comfortable there, mate. I think Balogun will push the back four as well, mate. I think he'll be thereabouts, mate. And he's fit as well.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how it pans out. It's a position that maybe 10 days ago we were talking about Stardog, and we're thinking, we're short here. We're short with Katic getting injured. As I said, we hadn't heard anything about Helander. You feared the worst. But all of a sudden, we've got competition there.
Aye, and it's a good thing, mate. You know, we're kind of, I wouldn't even say overloaded in that sense, mate, because, you know, another injury, or if anything happens to Helander again, you know, you've probably just got enough there to see you by. But I think it was uncertainty, mate, when about Helander went. Obviously, we knew where we stood with Nico. He's going to boot for a while, by the looks of it. But it was uncertainty of Helander, mate. We hadn't heard it, we hadn't seen it in him, and I was just as shocked as anybody to see him at the weekend, mate. But you could see he was maybe a year daft. But listen, that's his first game back, mate. He has been out for a long time. So I'd like to see Edmondson get the start, mate. I hate him, but you know he is going to be obviously the main defender when he comes back, mate.
I'll be interested. On you go.
No, just saying, mate, when he comes back to full fitness, you know, because I don't think he's 100% yet.
I agree with that. I mean, I think it's great that we'll get another wee bounce game on Tuesday. JFK, I think it's the right thing to do. Maybe some people will get a bit more minutes who haven't played a lot. I don't think there'll be that many, if he's starting 11, and maybe I don't think he'll risk many of them.
No, I think we saw the starting 11 at the start of the Coventry game there. I think that's probably be the one that would probably go away against the Sheep. If there is a swap for Helander and Big Edmondson. But I heard Stardog and Port Bear talking about. I'd like to see what the boy Balogun's made of at some point. You know, is he fit enough to throw into the Sheep?
Well, he's just finished playing, mate. He's got to be fit. Would you say there's a chance he could play on Saturday, mate?
I was going to say, I'd have thought maybe if it was going to drop anybody, it would be Edmondson. Would they put him in and he's
I
played.
wouldn't, Jimmy. I wouldn't play him on Saturday. No, up there.
No, I don't know. Maybe we don't know what
Do
he's
you think
thinking.
the crowd
Rudy.
will get in his back, Rudy?
Well, we've all been Audrey, yeah. I don't know.
He going to be
I'm quite looking
See,
forward.
going to his track record though. He's done it before, hasn't he? He put Joe Worrell and Talander into big games for their first time. So on his track record, mate, we probably could see him.
It's not Balogun's first rodeo either, lad. This guy's just finished his season. He's still pretty fresh.
Exactly, Port. He's still fit, mate. He's up and running. So there's no use in just saying we're bought him we're brought him here just for a backup to Katic. Now, let's get him into the team and see what he can do. You can only learn by your mistakes. And if I had a choice, I'd put Balogun in before I put Helander in. And I know.
At the moment,
because the boy's up and running. He's just finished a season.
I think what you do, start with Edmondson and Goldson at the weekend. You have Balogun on the bench, and depending on how the game goes at the weekend, maybe last 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. And give him a wee run out then, and just get him to start to work his way into the team. I'm excited about seeing him, Jimmy. Don't get me wrong, I really am. Because I get bags and bags of experience. I think he had a great time. As Stardug was saying at Wigan, he was part of a really good defence down there. I think he knows his stuff. He's got Bundesliga experience. He's an international player.
30 odd caps
for Nigeria, which are no mugs. They're a good side. They're a good international team. So I'm excited about seeing him. I just don't think I wouldn't start him from the very beginning at Pittodrie though.
Can I come in, Alex? Yeah.
On you go, mate. On you go.
No, I was just going to say I agree with the boys, but for me, and only this game coming up, it's a very, very important game for us. I would doubt very much if I would think of starting any. I would go with Edmondson and Goldson. That's my central defensive pair, and build it up on the back. I think I would like to see to ensure that Helander would come on the second half, just for saying sake, and that would give some left-footed support for Barisic, because he desperately needs it.
I don't think if the boy trains on this week, Helander will even get in the squad at Pittodrie, Brit.
No, it would surprise me. All I was meaning was that because he's left-footed, but then again, I know that Bassi is left-footed as well. So,
nobody's mentioned Big Shirley.
Yeah. Well, he could. He plays it to the left-sided centre half.
But he's only had real cameos, JFK, isn't he?
Aye.
We've not seen enough to judge you.
No, we've never seen him. Was he a big spender or what? I don't know.
Big spender.
The minute you walked in and joined JFK, I knew it was going to be like this.
Hey, don't you be pointing that gold finger at me.
A man of distinction,
Anyway, if people want to join us, what's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Where else can they join us, Port Bear?
Using Skype at RangersRadio.online, you get on to the team with Fox and Terry.
Yep, be great to hear you on the phone, but when we ask you to come on the phone, make your point, can you go and mute? These super duper phones that people have got to the Bridge, they pick up everything. Oh, talking about that, we've got our first caller on the phone of the new season. Evening, caller.
Good evening.
How we doing, mate?
I'll call you 7115. Right, listen.
Thanks for the call.
Jim, I never recognised your voice, Jim. Sure it's you.
No,
sure it's you.
Good to hear you all back here, guys.
How we doing, Jim? What's on your mind, mate?
That's on my mind there. I was laughing at you there when I heard them saying that he wouldn't bring him in. Maybe do you think the fans would get his back? I think this could be a wee blessing in disguise for us, over the next few months with these characters that's playing in Rangers jerseys, no playing in front of any fans, because it's been proved that the weight of the jersey in front of the troops wasn't helping a few of them the second part of the season. What do you think on that?
All right, I would say it's going to be an advantage for away teams in some respect. I'll go to Port Bear with that. But if I look at the betting, I think we're about 4-11 on Saturday and Aberdeen are 6-1. So the bookies say there's no chance for them, but I think it'll suit us for this particular game. But whether it'll suit us a week on Saturday or a week on Sunday when we play at Murn at Ibrox, I don't know. But
I think what you're saying there is correct. You know,
you're awful quiet, mate.
Is that better?
Keep going.
Aye. So basically, what I think will happen is obviously when we go there, there's no fans. You've not got that added pressure of away fans on your back, you know, and upsetting players. After the upset players, I particularly don't believe, and I hope I'm right. Their players are experienced enough to deal with, that anyway. The fans were there, but it's going to be the same for both teams, Jim. And Aberdeen come to Ibrox, we might not have fans either, mate. So I just think that's a 50-50 thing. I think that'll even itself throughout the season until you open the stadiums up again, mate. So I don't really think that'll affect Rangers in any way at the weekend, pal.
If you notice the fixtures, Port Bear, there's a certain team, and I don't know what team it is, I can't remember, but there's a certain team don't play any of last year's top six at home to, I think, the games start to after maybe there's fans back in October.
Is that not the computer that done that, the Walks?
Oh, just random.
Yeah.
Just random. What they need to be put under the spotlight, but that's another story. But if you want to look at Spotlight on Twitter, you'll see a real scandal. Carry on, Port Bear.
I think, I just think, the way the season will pan out, we don't know when fans will be back in the season, so, every time a team, I would say teams come to Ibrox, mate, it's got a bigger advantage because when sometimes your fans can be the 12th men, and that has been proved at Ibrox many, many, many times. So, I would say any team come to Ibrox, I've got probably about 10 or 20% better chance because obviously we've not got that 12th man to get those guys over the line. But what it will let our players do, let's see if they can do it on their own, mate. And that's what they should be doing. We should be destroying these teams at Ibrox anyway, whether the fans are or not. They should still know they're playing for us, no matter whether they're in the stadium or outside the stadium, in my opinion, mate.
Jim, what I will say is I take your point on board about some of the performances in the second half of the season weren't they great, but I just looked at some when we get beaten in the quarter final of the cup. We couldn't say there was hardly any Hearts fans there, so we couldn't put it to the away support.
I just think
or the home
it could
support.
be an advantage to even at Ibrox because I think a lot of the guys have been struggled to handle. I'll tell you what, we're the most unforgiving set of supporters in the world when they're on their backs. That's the point I'm coming across with. I think it could help us to try and get a wee head of steam up here because I think it could be to an advantage just now.
Well, you need to win the games. You need to put the ball in the net and win the football matches, Stardog, yeah? Doesn't matter if there's fans there or no.
Aye, 100%, mate. The fact that we're even thinking about that as an advantage or a disadvantage, mate, would be worrying for me, mate. And I'd like to think the players don't have that kind of mentality. For me, Aberdeen away, first game of the season, with fans or no fans, it's still a massive game for the team, mate, and it's got to kickstart us for the season. So we've got to get the result, mate, whether there's fans in the stadium or no. I know it might be a slight advantage because the fans are brilliant for them, mate, up there, especially when they play us, but we can't be looking at that as a team, mate.
I think we can be looking at it as a team because I think, again, as I say, I think a lot of them have struggled to cope with playing for Rangers.
But the fact that you're even saying that, Jim, does that not even worry you that you've got players in the team that are going to struggle?
Aye, that's how we should have got rid of half of them. And I think we've all said it ourselves, we had to get rid of a few of them. But at this present time, we've not got rid of anybody who we thought we should have got rid of.
Well, I think we need to be adding, if anything, before we get rid of anybody else.
Anyway, we've been joined by a caller. He'll be with us in a second. Jim, I take your point. I mean, look, the first 11, I think we need another couple of bodies in. It's going to be first 11 players. But it was the fringe players. We've got a lot of players who are nowhere near the first team, taking a lot of money out of the club. That's the problem we had. We moved quite a few of them on. They've disappeared. The contracts have been up. We moved a few on. Well, he's got the show in the background, the caller, that we've been joined by All Bear. Evening, All Bear.
Evening, mate. How you doing? How you all doing, guys?
I'm glad you're on, mate. You take the average age down, mate. You take the average age down.
Good to hear you, Albert.
How you doing, guys? I'm just asking, Port, are you in the same postcode as your phone?
No, it isn't. I think what it is, he's no. Listen, I'm no one for carrying stories, but Startug was telling me he's in the toilet hiding, so he's no told his missus he's on the show.
All right.
So if you're not getting that echo, it's because he's in the bathroom. It's lovely and tiled and all that, so it's nice, but it's just it sounds no so great.
Well, as long as he doesn't use it, we're fine. We'll go on with it.
All right, mate, how we doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Oh, Bear, you're too quiet. We can't hear you.
He sounds like he's on our water or something.
I think he's on one of the cruise ships sitting down that Clyde.
He's in the bath, Startug.
He's on one of the cruise ships that's sitting down there.
He's got to say something, but I better know.
He sounds like he's in Port Glasgow and his phone's in Greenock.
That's not the first time that's happened to him. How we doing, all Bear? What's on your mind, mate?
I was just thinking about the Aberdeen game, and the Coventry game gave me a bit. I enjoyed all the games up to the Coventry game. That gave me a bit of concern, especially that first half. I mean, that was back to after the winter break last year. That was the same performance. Man, I was not happy at all. A bit better, I suppose, but I wasn't happy with it at all. I'm saying to myself, we're struggling again. Here we go again.
First 10 minutes were fine, mate. And what happened was Hadji and Kent stopped playing the position and started going all over the place. And then with nobody near Morelos, who then started coming deeper because he wasn't getting the ball. And the whole thing went to pot. When we kept our shape and they two played as inside forwards, we look a better team.
Aye. And you've got to have at least one, possibly two, your midfield breaking the line. No, I mean, you've just no go to it. Kamara never does it. He does a sort of semi-holding role, and Bigger Evil does it now and again. Bigger Evil's better at it, obviously, but he tries to play through the line. But nobody breaks the line to take the pass, and that's one of our problems for last year as well. It's one of the tools we need to get to break down these defences. That and cross balls and somebody in the area to head of the ball. As many tools as you can get to break down these defences and long range shooting. All the things that we don't do. That's why we struggle with these defences all the time. But apart from that, I thought everything was going all right. But the Aberdeen game is a concern to me. It really is a concern because they're going to block. They're no fit enough to play us. So they're just going to block. It's just going to be 11 men behind the wall.
Well, I'm not be surprised. I mean, they've hardly played a game, have they?
Wow.
You know, they've hardly played a game. As far as I know, I don't follow them that closely, but my understanding is they've hardly played a game. By the way, I take your point, Albert, about when Coventry sat in and then they slowly come into the game because we got frustrated. The only pleasing thing, or one of the pleasing things for Saturday, was we did change it at half time, which sometimes we've just carried on with the same thing. But I also think you're right, and I'll go to JFK with this. We need more than one creative midfielder as well at Ibrox against these teams with the so-called low block.
I totally agree with that. Before talk about that, I said to you after the game in Coventry, and I think the manager actually hinted at it. I think he asked Coventry to play like that first half because I think he knows what to expect, and he kind of alluded to that during his presser after it, that he wanted the team to be tested because he knows the way teams are going to come. But getting into the midfield, I mean, I agree. Kamara for me is, I know we were all raving about him, £50,000, and he could potentially be a £7 or £8 million player and all that carry on. But we need a battler in there. If it's not going to be Ryan Jack, we need somebody in there that's going to battle. And it hurts me to say about you know who, but I'm not going to mention his name. We all hate him, but he does what he does in that midfield very well. And we need a spoiler in there to help us fight in the midfield. It's all right playing a nice tippy-tappy foot in the midfield and getting out to the wings, but we need somebody in there that can spoil what the other team's doing and try and win the battles where they need to be won. And
well, have both one of them, Jimmy, have we? That's
what I'm saying, Rudy. We need one of the players in that midfield.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Ryan Jack would have been that man, but I don't think he's got that in his box and that. So for me, it's got to be need to go out and look for somebody. Who it's going to
be?
be
Perfectly honest, Jimmy. To be perfectly honest, I mean, he said it himself. We need more quality, and the quality is needing to upgrade. Is Jack and Aribo, Jack and Kamara. We need two players that upgrades them. We really do. And I like Jack. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to me, he's a squad player. He shouldn't be on the team all the time.
The problem is, mate, when you watch games like that, and we've watched them all through the last few weeks, and I'll go to Jim 115 with this. They play on top of the centre halves, but two defensive midfielders. So we've nobody near our strikers. We've nobody running, because I don't care how good you are, you can't be in two places at once.
100% agree with you. You're saying there about Jack and Kamara. I thought at the weekend, I don't think there was a need for the two of them to be played in that position. And I felt early doors, what you were saying there about the early doors in that game. I thought Golson and that seemed to be wanting to go for the long ball all the time, which again was missing out for midfield.
I think there's nothing wrong with Golson going with the wrong ball, but you can't do the same thing all the time. It's all about...
No, I think that's what you were alluding to there. How it was kind of worrying at the weekend there. I thought it did look a bit kind of worrying, because I don't think Jack and Kamara was working, and that's why the long ball was getting played all the time.
Because they were playing right next to them. They were playing right next to them, and the other team were marking them and closing us down, and they're entitled to do that all better.
Aye, but the two players we're needing, as Jimmy's pointed out, we need that battler, and Rudy's pointed out, we need that battler in there, and a class battler, not just a hammer thrower, a class battler, somebody who knows what they're doing in there. And we also need a Durant type player to break the lines. And Durant used to make the late run through the defensive line and get the ball, arriving in the box late and things like that. That was Durant's fault. If that's the type of player we need at the moment, then we need that battler. Because at the moment, the midfield's much of a much. And I don't see where the creativity is coming from, and I don't see us winning the ball back. I'm saying we're a team that waits for a team to make a mistake before we get the ball back. We don't get in and win the ball. I know that in modern game you're not really allowed to tackle, but you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes somewhere in the park you've got to tackle. So that's a concern.
When we're playing, we close down. When we're not playing well, we seem to be chasing a wee bit of shadows. Anyway, talking about real battlers, we've been joined by Big Al. Evening, big man. Or good morning,
gentlemen.
All right, Al.
Aye, good man. Good, excellent. A couple of things that just the strength and depth thing for me. The name Gerrard, well, he certainly hasn't brought any big names to the club. I think we've got an issue there. When you scratch above, or when you just look underneath the surface, we've not got a lot there. We're struggling. We start the league on Saturday, big game on Saturday. I find that a bit disappointing with the club. Pre-season so far has been good. It's only a pre-season. First half on Saturday we struggled, and that's what we're going to come up against most of the season. So I don't know if he's got answers for it. I don't know if he's got answers for how we're going to play. I didn't see him changing it. You said he changed it in the second half. That's all right, changing it in the second half. But when you're struggling in the first half, should you not be changing it in the first half?
I accept your point, Al. I mean, sometimes when you're on the park, it's players that should change things, you know. And then
but he's a manager. He's a manager. He's need to tell it. The players, they do what they're telling. He has to tell them what to do. Yeah, he gives them instruction. If they're not adhering to it, he just to stand at the sideline and tell them, like, get your finger out here.
Well,
I don't think he changed it. I don't think he changed it either. I think it was more that they changed their.
They changed their 11 players.
They changed their 11 players.
If you watched it, where Kent and Hadji were playing compared to where they were running in the first half was different, and that was a big change because Alfredo was left isolated. Like that was some of the problem we had sometimes last season. And when they go in their positions, they kill the space for the two fullbacks. Whatever you think of Tav and Barisic, if the space gets killed for them, there's nothing to run for them to run into, and that's a big part of our play, Albert.
Yeah. I know. I remember that.
I'm going to go. I'm going to work. the unsettling thing as well for the last 2 weeks is this Alfredo Morelos situation. Why has that been allowed to fester and bubble away?
Oh,
Can you tell me
the guy is like anybody else, and I'll take it to GFK. There's not a lot of football happening. It's all dying a death, particularly in Scotland. They've got to get stories out there and maybe unsettle Rangers. And everybody knows if he's got a price, and if somebody comes in with the right price, we can't stop.
Why is the club allowed it? Why is the club allowed this to happen?
Has the club allowed it though, Al? I mean, the club.
I think they have. I
don't know, mate. I mean, I think that a lot of the stuff that's been coming out for the club in the last month or so has been very positive because they've been using different media. But I don't think that it's out of the club's hands. You know, that if other people are going to make statements that Alfredo's up for sale now. I mean, Alfredo's been up for sale for the last season. And for me, it's a bit of a coincidence, or maybe no a coincidence, that the league starts on Saturday and there's people trying to upset Alfredo. I mean, Rangers did make a small 3-letter statement regarding that they're aware of something happening in the media, but as far as you're concerned, it's nothing to do with them. So I think Rangers are playing it well, and I don't see any reason why the club should come out and deny or think any of these statements has been made. You know, I mean, that caused enough stir. It was on Sky yesterday, and I phoned Big Stevie up for the drum, and he was the middle of his nose bag, and he nearly choked on it. He phoned me back and says, "I nearly choked that." He said, "Nearly threw it to the waiter." So in the middle of his nose bag, he was getting bad news. So bad news like that can do things to people. But that's not funnier note. But for me, I think the Rangers are handling it well. You know, I know people see it differently.
Fair enough.
We can't stop the speculation. He's arguably the best player in Scotland. Portbell.
I know, mate.
Right, take care, gents. All the best.
Cheers, Al.
Cheers, Big Al.
Aye, definitely, Oaks. I just feel Rangers on the far away. I don't think from, have a decent team that's going to compete really, really good this year. I know what Alan's saying, Paul, I feel this. Gerrard just needs to add to a wee bit of fairy dust, mate, to that team, just to add a bit of sparkle, a bit of shine, a bit of drive, to just a bit of skill, ability, a higher class of player than what we've got. 2 or 3, mate, and I don't think we'll be far away. I really, really don't. I think there's a makings of a decent team there. I do admit, a bit of this on the show, I think we're at 12 and 13 player mark, we're decent. But after that, I do think we need, a bit of quality. And tap with that first team quality, may I add, it's got to be guys that I think is going to challenge our current squad right away for the get-go and they're brought in. But, let's see, mate. The transfer window's open to September. 70 days the transfer window's open for. There's a lot of players out there that wouldn't, necessarily be available any other time in football life, because obviously the current situation, a lot of teams are cutting their cloth, to get players out the door that they don't want to pay. So there's going to be a better class of player out there, in my opinion, mate. So maybe Gerrard's doing his due diligence along with Ross Wilson's to make sure this is the players are looking at, mate, are the quality he needs. Maybe he needs to look them in the eye and find out about them, what they're like inside as men. I don't know, mate, but take your time.
What I think the bench players are actually playing in the first team at the moment. It's the quality of the first team we need to upgrade. It's no the squad, it's the first team. So I think Jack and Kamara are bench players, and I think Big Edmondson's a bench player. I think they three are part of your seven subs. It's new. You need to get at least two quality players in there. You might be okay with the centre half, but you definitely need to get 2 quality players into our team, into our first 11. No doubt about it, mate.
I definitely agree with you, but in my opinion, it's we need a centre midfielder, mate, defensive centre midfielder, box to box that can get up there all day long. And I do think we need another striker. I think we're short.
We're going to come to that after. We'll come to that after the tune. But I think the striker debate's a good point. Was that you coming in there, Rudy?
No, I was just saying to Mark. We're needing 2. If you're talking 2 or 3 players that will come right into the first team, they'll hit the ground running, and put 2 or 3 players that's already say in that starting 11 for the weekend against Coventry. Go put 2 or 3 of them out. Then as it stands just now, we're needing 2 strikers, in my opinion. I mean, it's long. at least two.
We'll come to that and all after the break, because I'd like to think that when they're drawing up their targets and when they're drawing up their strategy, there'll be a big yes/no. If Morelos goes, we do this. If Morelos stays, we do this.
Hopefully,
I think we're insulting Ross and Stevie G if we don't think they've covered all the bases.
That's what I touched on there, Oxshire. That's why I was saying these guys will be doing due diligence right now to make sure, there's two different scenarios. There's, as you said there, Morelos staying, Morelos going, but there's also other areas in the squad, like we touched on a minute ago, in the midfield, etc. Well, I don't believe Gerrard's happy with injuring him either. I really don't. I really believe that. Because at Ibrox, I don't believe we should be playing two defensive midfielders. We shouldn't have Jack and Kamara in this team at Ibrox, mate. So, I think it will happen, mate. I think they'll be looking for a type, mate. You've touched on this before. They'll be looking for a type of player. And then I even think the guy that's going to play in the forward line, he's got to be able to interchange, isn't he? He's got to do the same sort of job as Morelos does, because he does a lot of work, dropping deep, playing with two wide men in, or two number 10s, what you want to call them. So it's a type of guy we need, guys.
I thought Morelos was the best player at the weekend. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Right. Well, we're going to have our first tuner this season. Anybody get any requests?
Sash.
I've got a
Who
wee
said
request,
that?
guys.
Who said that?
Don't know.
I've got a wee request. Could the boys that's not speaking please go on mute when they're not talking, as it's interrupting myself and Old School Blues negotiations with the police here. We've kidnapped nurse. Parole nurse.
I didn't even say who you kidnapped. People even asked any names.
I know.
And you just dragging random woman off the street now.
Aye.
You've kidnapped a frontline worker.
Yes, we
That
have
one
indeed.
doesn't ask questions. He just takes you off the street.
Nurse Gladys it is, and we're holding out for till where the demands are met. I'm asking for Doncaster to be sacked and Alfie to stay. And Old School Blue wants a bag of cans. Thank you very much.
I think that woman you've got in your house is your home helpmate. You need to let her go. She's got a shift in the morning. Right, get yourself in mute. We'll have a tune.
Marching on through the years of history. It's headed on high. How far the jersey they will do or die. Oh, fight, fight for right. Play the game with a badge of glory. We'll lose or draw. Well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true. On the wing to cheer the boys in blue, oh, follow they will, marching on through the song of glory. We'll lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. Have you seen the Glasgow Rangers? Have you seen the boys in blue? Well, they're admired by all who know them. If you knew them, so would you. For they have played in Monaco, they have played in the USA. But the greatest game in history is the game on New Year's Day. For it's the home of famous heroes, and their praises they have been sung. Willie Waddle, Tory Gaelic, Alan Morton and George Young. And when all my life has ended, and when death has made its mark, will you scatter all my ashes on the slopes of Ibrox Park? And what the angels I'll be singing up in heaven, there up above. I'll be singing, follow, follow, to the Rangers that I love. And with my flute I will be playing in the valleys and the glens. I'll be happy and contented when the Rangers win again. See them marching on through the years of history. It's held on high, oh, for the jersey they would do or die. Fight, fight for right, play the game with a badge of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's a Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true. On the wing to cheer the boys in blue, oh, follow they will, marching on through the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story.
Well, did we enjoy that, gents?
Certainly did.
Yeah, that was good.
Fantastic tune. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, that's enough for you. You take it easy. Go and sit back down. You bust your stitches. He's not answering me. Right. First of all, Fox, can you let that poor woman go so we can get back over the show?
No.
All right. Right. Just before we go to Alfredo, picking up that a boy's been rumoured with now, not the most reliable of sources, but excuse me if I don't get this right. Bjornguy Zunga for men's has broken some of the Scottish press that were paid €4 million for him. Midfielder, don't know nothing about it, might not be true. It is the internet, and no, all your sources are correct. But it's on Twitter, and potentially some of the Scottish press are saying we've signed him for €4 million. So it'll be interesting. Albert, they must have been listening to the show and said, right, Albert said we need a centre midfielder. And we've done it right away.
Quite right, mate. No, I mean, I've got a new set of studs. I've got my new studs in, so I'm ready to go anyway. So here's a shout.
Brilliant.
I hope they're all back ones.
Oh, are they dirty ones? Are they alley ones? Are they the alley ones? Because I'm a dirty player.
Did you sharpen them up, Albert?
Oh, aye, I'm old school, mate.
To a point.
It's good. It's good that they're looking at players like that. Well, we know it's all speculation and all that. And until it's in the Rangers family,
Do you see him with the scarf, mate? Till you see him with the scarf.
Aye, till I hear it for the right people. You know what I mean? Like yourselves, or follow, or Heart and Hand or any of these, Jez Netting or anything. If they're not telling me it doesn't happen. So I don't listen to any of it now. I just give it a wide berth. So, as you say, until they sit there with a scaffold and then you believe it. So, speculate all they want. They'll not get a rise out of me.
No. JFK, I've had some excuses why some people don't come on the show. I've no names. It wouldn't be fair to put a name out here, but let's just say it sounds like somebody from the Rum, yeah? Okay. And it's his anniversary and he's had a better offer than come on the show. What kind of excuse is that?
Well, I think the person you're talking to, it rhymes with bum, didn't it? Is that no?
Well, I mean, poor show if you ask me, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, don't. As I told you earlier on, I mean, I disturbed his nose bag yesterday.
God, so it might not be the same person, mate.
No, if it's not, well, that's the only person I know that's a bum. If it's him, the guy for the bum.
It might not be the same person. And as Fox,
it might not be.
Fox will tell you can always get another woman. You don't always, you're stuck with the one football team.
Are you talking about a man that's famous for the Bonds, aye? The whiskey bond.
We get a number 90s house in the old days.
I think I know who you mean, aye. But,
one of the worst excuses ever for not coming on the show. Aye. Right, Stardog, Alfredo Morelos, Steiner gone.
Yeah. He's gone, mate.
Yeah, I think he'll be playing on Saturday. There you go.
Well, I hope so, mate. But in between now and after Saturday, I think we need to be really getting somebody in, mate. Somebody needs to be signed on the line. I don't know who's rustling, but it's not me.
No, me.
No, it was a bridge.
But we need somebody signed, mate. Either before Saturday or on Saturday or whatever.
Two different subjects, mate. Let's talk about Morelos, but I think you're spot on. We do need another striker in the door, even if Morelos stays Stardog.
Aye, 100%, mate. 100%. JFK's been going about it for months now. And looking back on it, this should have been sorted. I know he's taking his time and things like that for the right player, but I'm just going on previous players, mate. Ender has turned up the goods for Rangers. They've taken a while to settle in, mate. And if Alfredo's gone, we can't afford Andy taking time to settle in. We've got to have somebody in there training, somebody that's going to come in and hit the ground running and bang the goals in for us. As I said earlier, there's going to be a big responsibility knowing Hadji, Aribo and Ryan Kent to chip in with goals, mate. Because he's a big, big miss. If he goes, that's 29 goals out your team straight away.
Aye. Yeah, we'll be joined by a caller. Evening, caller.
Good evening, lads. How are you?
How are we doing, Stephen? Good to hear from you, mate. You were quick.
Well, that was my 5 minutes over, Ox. 5 minutes over. We've got extra time. That's for sure. By the way, Jimmy, you did ruin my nose bag on Sunday. I was just about to bite into a Jimmy Nicol, and you told me Alfredo was away. I nearly choked it. By the way, the wee Italian waiter nearly got a thumping, by the way. I was absolutely livid. I couldn't believe it. And by the way, we need to start learning. Until Rangers, official Rangers site releases it, it's not just baloney, man. It's not just baloney. We need to stop upsetting ourselves, man. That's what we need to stop doing. Is the bridge man there?
It's past his bedtime now.
I'm indeed, pal. I'm here, pal.
Bridge, I'm just on, honest to God, mate. I'm wanting to see how you are. Are you doing all good, old pal?
Oh, I'm doing well, pal. Thanks very much. Doing well. Every day's a good day. Every day's a good day.
Yeah, especially when you've got sun in your heart. That's right, mate. You're a good drum chat, man. We'll go to look after each other.
Well said, pal.
Guys, can I change the subject a wee bit? What about our new sponsor today? Does anybody can you elaborate on that?
Well, it looks to me, big man, that they've come in and we've signed a sponsorship deal with a logistics outfit who's going to tie up with Castore to help get the strips to far-flung places like Drumchapel and that, but there's a problem with distribution, you know. So they've come in. They're American-based, big outfit, by the way, and obviously they'll be paying money to get their name in the back of the strip. I know traditionalists will not like it, but it's modern day, and money talks, mate. Eh?
Well, that's good. Listen, their sponsorship we get, innit? No, it's only good, innit? onwards and upwards. That's magic. So I take it the way you're talking, not saying it's all linked, sort of thing. It'll help
They
us
announced,
to distribute
they announced it on the official site today. There's a tie-up with the Castore. They're going to be logistics
Brilliant.
partners.
Brilliant.
You know, so the guy, Bisgrove, is joined up thinking. It's unusual for us, but it's joined up thinking, big man.
Is the name gone in the jersey, Ox?
Aye, so if you look on the main site, there's a picture, mate.
We've got to have more names on there than Larby War, haven't we?
It's Seiko at the back and obviously the one down the bottom. And then obviously...
I think it's only on the first team strips. I don't think it's going on the retail strips.
Right,
Is that all bear?
That's all bear, yes.
Did they get his tag off? Aye.
Aye, he's had it off, mate. Had it off. I paid the fine, mate. I paid the fine. You
Hey,
know
I
what
was
that's
I was out the day for the first time. Well, no, I was out yesterday for the first time since March. So, aye, my tag's off.
But your curfew 7 o'clock. Your curfew 7 o'clock, mate.
Aye. And by the way, they fell into my trap. By the way, I get away with wearing a mask in a shop now, so shoplifting's great.
All the years, all the years.
Listen, boys, I'm going to shoot the craw, right? Because it is my anniversary, Jim up, and Myra Hanley's looking no bad, so I'm going to blow the first.
Stevie, you want a bit of advice? Stevie, you want a bit of advice to how to have a happy marriage? 2 nights a week, good 2 nights a week. Me and her, she goes out on a Wednesday and a Thursday, and I go out on a Friday and a Saturday.
on that note, I'll call it a day, gentlemen. Okay, listen, be positive. By the way, be positive. Let's just get my sleeves rolled up and get stuck into the seat on Saturday. I know a lot of people coming on and we need cover here and we need cover there. Listen, we're capable of doing Aberdeen, and I think we'll win by 2 clear goals. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, big man. I'll phone you. I'll give you a phone back in 5 minutes.
Right, okay. Over now.
Right. Cheers, mate. What a man. What a man. So, going back to Stardog, Morelos, you think he's going to go, and if you got a price in your head?
Well, what I want, what Rangers will get is probably 2 different things, mate. But, you know, I reckon anyone in the region for 20 to 25 million, mate, he should go for. I know a lot of folk will probably laugh when I say that, but I just think his age, mate, he's a Columbia international. I think it brings a lot to any team, any striker that can handle a defence by himself, mate, and score 29 goals before Christmas is even there. You know, you're buying quality, mate, and you're buying somebody for the future, and you're buying also somebody that scored 14 goals in Europe last year. So whether he's not scored a goal for Christmas or no, mate, let's not undermine the fact that the boy is a in the making for me, mate. He's a world class striker. So I would love to see him stay Australia, but I just think he's made his mind up now, and I'm disappointed with it because he's not won anything here, and I wouldn't leave Rangers unless I'd won anything. You've not achieved anything. I know you've scored all the goals and things like that, but personally, mate, you look back in your time in Scotland and you never lifted a trophy with Rangers. I'd like to see him stay one more season, mate, but I think he's away.
I get your point, mate, but when I see people celebrate because they've ended up 4th in the league, mate, it makes me wonder what the game's become. You know?
No, good point.
Aye. Look, Morelos, everybody's got a price, JFK, and then I'll go to Rudy. Everybody's got a price. We don't even know if he's got a clause in his contract, and why should we?
No, of course everybody's got a price. You know, I mean, we got him for just over $1 million, you know, so if others who we don't want to mention are worth, sold for between 20 and 25 million, then I don't see any reason why Alfredo should be for that amount. I'm like yourself, I think he'll play on Saturday. I don't think he'll go before the Sheep game. Look, if he goes for anything less than 15 million, then it's a travesty. But that money's got to be well spent. Got to be really well spent on a striker. Even if he stays, we need to spend money on a striker. I think you've been proved to be correct. Rudy Bear.
I think the whole problem I think with selling Alfredo now is he looks like he wants to go now, and that's fair enough. And I remember it have a big.
Where are you picking that up for, Rudy?
Well, I just think the second half of last season, Ox, you know, I think he'd got to a point where some of his performances, and I know you could probably say that about most of them, the second half of last season. It's 3 years he's been there now, and he's banged in a whole load of goals and hasn't won anything yet. I think the way he's treated in the press and in the media and by other fans in this country is absolutely shameful. And I think if he does go to France, or anywhere else for that matter, he'll get treated much better than he does in this country. But that's another story, isn't it, really? Right, as far as his price goes, I think 20 to 25 million. I think that's a bit optimistic. I think if you'd have been looking at that when he'd been top goal scorer in the Europa League, banging in 29 goals before Christmas, as Starzog was saying there, brilliant. But then when you look at what's happened from March onwards, I don't think you're going to get money like that for a player. You know, certainly no in Scotland anyway. Player that's playing in Scotland. Apparently, I read a wee thing earlier on there, Lille are coming in with an €18 million coming in to try and tempt Rangers with an 18 million euros bid during the week sometime. If that's true, I think we've got to take it, and I hate to say it because
the Euros are no good. We can't go to Spain with them.
They just sell a player there for 55 million.
Aye, well, they've took in something like 110 million, 115 million recently with sales, you know. So they've got the money there, Jimmy. They've got it. Don't get me wrong. I know they've got it. I just think try to get sort of 20, 25 million, and I think Alfredo's more than worth that, in all honesty. I just think trying to get that for him, I don't think it'll happen. I think if it's true that Lille do come in with 18 million euros.
Can I just jump in there? I'm a wee bounce with Dougie the Bear. He's put something up in the lobby, and I have checked it up. I don't know how that would impact about them buying anybody, but the French transfer window doesn't open up until the 15th.
Doesn't open.
August.
Yeah, but that's nothing. It means you can't do the homework to do the deal, was it?
I mean, that means that he could still play at Pittodrie at the weekend, which I'm sure he will do, because I think he'll still be here come next week. But it doesn't stop Lille from coming in and saying to Rangers, right, you know, 80 million's the price we're willing to pay, you know. And it's maybe better for Alfredo now that he does go. But trying to replace him, Ox, it's going to be so hard to replace him. It really is. Because players that do what Alfredo does and scores the amount of goals that Alfie scores, they're hard to come by because they usually cost big money, and it's normally well outside our kind of, you know, what we can afford to spend on players, unfortunately. And I'd much rather him stayed here until he won something and then went. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that. I don't think he'll see you at the transfer window anyway.
There's a chance you could be right there, Rudy. But look, players come and go all the time. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, something sticks in my mind of something you said to me, Ox, a few months back when we were talking about Alfredo. You said to me, if he is unhappy and he wants to go, then we've got to let him go. What's the point in keeping an unhappy player?
I think that'd be anybody. I go with Port Bear with that. Port Bear, I think that'd be anybody.
You've touched on that, mate. I think they one's bigger than the club. You've always said that as well. We've replaced bigger stars than Alfredo Morelos, in my opinion, before. Yeah. You know, I were upset and were, you know, probably. In my opinion, Alfredo's going the long way about getting to his top six club, but I think he could play in any league in Europe. If he stayed at Rangers and fired Rangers to 55, my opinion, mate, humble opinion, if he stayed and fired Rangers to 55 and scored another 25 plus goals, he would get his move next year, mate. I think if he was a bit more patient, you know, he could get his big club. But in my opinion, he's going to go to the French league. Lille aren't, in my opinion, challenging for any titles anytime soon. So, you know, what's he got to rely on over there? Europa Cup maybe with them and playing against...
in the Champions League next season.
I know, mate, but you know what I mean? In league terms, you need to join that club. You need to do well there first. You need to settle there and have seasons like here. But I think he's going the long way about, mate. I might still achieve and get to his club wherever he wants to end up in his, you know, the final parts of his career. But I think if it was a wee bit more patient, and you know, even put Rangers in a nice position till Christmas and wait in January, I don't know, mate. I just think he's got a big decision to make. So is Rangers. I believe he's worth 20 million. I'm sure that's what Rangers said. That's the only thing they would accept, and I think they should stick by it. 20 million, or you know, something.
I'm going to go down the panel. I'm going to go down the panel. I'm going to go down the panel, and I'll come back to you, JFK, and it's a yes/no answer. So everybody be ready. Will Alfredo Morelos play at Pittodrie? Albert?
Yes.
JFK?
Yes.
Port Bear?
No.
Rudy Bear?
Yes.
Stardog?
No.
Fox?
Yes.
Bridgeman?
Yes, for me.
Right, there we go. Well, there's a couple of no's and the majority yes. Only time will tell, but it's a moving story. And JFK, you want to come in there, mate?
I mean, I know he's wanting to play Champions League football, but he's not going to get that next season because Lille finished fourth and they're in the Europa League. Their three combatants in the thing is PSG, Marseille, and Rennes, or Rennes, whatever way you might say it.
Could PSG
I read
win
that. I read that on the website, Jimmy. It's not the first time I've been rang. Sorry, mate.
No, but I mean, my thinking on that, Rudy, is that for me, it's a step down. No,
I agree.
How is it? I mean, we don't want to talk about obviously his other team that I like to watch. That Big Van Dijk. I mean, he went for the Smellies there down to Southampton, and then he got his big move. I just can't see how Alfredo's going to get any big move playing for Lille. For me, it would be an Everton or a Leicester or something like that.
One of the things we need to take into consideration is the fact that if he stays, some of the guys have been saying, if he stays, he's going to take into consideration how much more damage this Scottish media are going to do to his reputation.
Yeah.
So they're slaughtering him at every goal. So people are not going to touch him. No matter what the boy does, it's always wrong. So he's going to take that into consideration if he's thinking long term in his career. And as you say, Jimmy, if he has to go to Lille, it's not the greatest move, I would say, for him to get to the big club. But it might be the only move that he can actually get to get away from this Scottish media, because it's scandalous the way they treat the boy. Really, it's scandalous.
Full size. I mean, had you seen all the work Alberti done in his own country and his own village, all the charity work they've done and everything, and the only time you ever seen anything was on the fans forums. Nothing about the boy. It's shameful how he's been treated in this country. It really is.
The guys like you, Rudy's a working class hero.
Well, what can I say, Ox? What can I say?
Yeah, working class hero.
As I said, I don't doubt, guys, he'll get to the top where he wants to go. I really don't. I just think that's maybe the long way about it, going to Lille. But like Albert says, I have to agree on that. Maybe he's thinking about his long term. He's vilified in this country. Maybe if he goes to France, things will chill out a wee bit. He can chill out and then he'll go into bigger and better things. I just think Rangers and Lille, big difference in me.
Mm.
It'll be interesting to see how he goes and how it goes. Right, go back to Stardog again. Who's the guy that's done it? We need an R striker in. We're not replacing Morelos at the moment, but we need a striker in. We've been linked with a few, but who's the one that's lighting your fire?
Mate, you're talking about replacing Alfredo Morelos, to me, mate, I'm still a wee bit hurting at the fact that this has even came up and it's a subject, even though I knew this day was going to come. For me, mate, there's nobody jumping out. There's just nobody, mate. There's even if you go and sign somebody between 8 and 10 million, right, which I don't think Rangers are actually going to go and do, that doesn't guarantee the goals that boy scores. They might not even be any good. They might just flop. Like, we just don't know. There's no guarantees in football, Stuart. So what would they, mate? I don't know. I've seen a lot of folks saying Sam Cosgrove and Lyndon Dykes, but mate, for doing what we're going to be trying to do this year, there are no players that are going to be able to achieve that. For me, I think we need to be aiming a bit higher as a club. Obviously, nothing set in stone yet. Alfredo still weighs, but I think it is going to go, mate. I think it's inevitable now. It's going to happen. So for me, I don't know.
That becomes another issue, mate, because then they would need to sign another striker.
Umar Niasse, mate, he's a free agent now. I know he played with Everton. He's a kind of target man striker. He's not really known for his goals, mate, but he'd be a better target to hit than I would say Lyndon Dykes. He's got that Premier League experience as well, so I don't know if Rangers would look at him.
All right, we'll be joined by Caller. Evening, Caller.
Well, hello, strangers.
Who's that?
What? Nobody recognises my voice.
All right, who's
that? Listen, thanks for the call. Don't be a stranger, and we'll speak to you soon. All right.
I thought you might have missed me a bit more than that. No? All right. It's Wheels.
Is your voice broke, Wheels?
Is my voice broke? pro. no, but my wheels have.
How's your spokes broke?
Something like your wheels, dude.
Get a flat tyre. No.
Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well.
How you keeping, mate? How you keeping?
Not too bad, not too bad. All is well. Bridge, glad to hear you're doing well again, mate.
Bridge is away to have a rest, mate. He's only on half shifts. I've got him on half shifts. Fox dragging random woman off the street. The thing's going to pot.
Fox, you let that woman go. Not having that. Anyway, right.
Not until we get our bag of cans.
Don't lie, you're after a fish supper, I know you. Right, listen. As soon as you said Alfredo Morelos, I thought, you know me, you know what I'm like when it comes to Alfredo.
Hurry up, I'll get my work in the morning.
Right, here's the bottom line, guys. Right, here's the harsh reality. Right, if Alfredo goes, we kiss 55 goodbye this season. I'm sorry, you're not. Listen,
Alfredo could break his leg at Pittodrie on Saturday, mate. That's football.
Yeah. You're not going to replace a 30-goal striker in this transfer window. It ain't going to happen.
Who scored the most goals in the league last year? Defoe or Morelos?
Well, Morelos got, what, 12 in the league?
I'm just asking. I've not checked it, but I will.
I'm sure Defoe, mate.
Because we're looking for goals and different players. You don't know. Football can be cruel. You could give him a 4-year contract on Saturday, Friday afternoon, and he could break his leg on Saturday afternoon. We've all seen it.
The other thing, Ox, I'm sure you've seen it yourself, right? A lot of people saying, "Oh, he doesn't look interested anymore." Or
I thought he was man of the match. I thought he was man of the match on Saturday.
Absolutely. Do you remember? Well, obviously you will remember, but Marco Negri is a perfect example. When did you ever see him smile in the park? He always looked as grumpy as hell. You know what I mean? Just because a player doesn't run about with a big smile on his face doesn't mean he's not interested. And he's came out today and said there's been no contact with Lille. He's not spoke to them. He's come out and said that himself today.
I don't think you'll find there's been any comment for Alfredo Morelos, mate. It's all social media.
He was interviewed on a Colombian. It was a video chat thing they done.
I think you might.
Colombian channel.
I've been sent it, but I think you'll find that was an old interview, mate.
I don't know. I feel he's more committed than people think he is. I mean,
so you think he'll be still with us on Saturday?
He will. He'll play on Saturday 100%, without a doubt.
But Port Berlin, you played the game, mate. When you're sitting there and you've got your first team squad, how often it doesn't go perfect football, is it?
No, is it hell, mate? You know, is it hell? What I think? Do I think if Morelos stayed even January, do I think he'd down tools? No, I don't. I think he'd still go and give it his all. In my opinion, in pre-season, he's been nothing short of outstanding. He's not put the ball in the net, but he's created a hell of a lot. You know, he brings. You know, what's improved for me greatly with Alfredo Morelos is he's, you know, bringing other people into play. You know, his all-round game up front, Oxford, is outstanding. That's why I think Rangers are a good position to ask for big money for him. Do I think, as I said, do I think he'll down tools? No, I don't. And I think if he played on Saturday, you know, he'd give it his all as well. But the reason I don't think he might play on Saturday, because I do think he's going to go Oxford, and I think Rangers would be stupid to risk him, mate, because what you just touched on, a broken leg, and then you lose that money. Maybe to add that bit of fairy dust, like I say, to the team earlier on, maybe they need the money for him, Oxford, to add to what they want. You know, maybe Gerrard's got different plans. I don't know, mate. I'm just speculating here. But certainly, I don't think as a player he would down tools if Steven Gerrard asked. Rangers have been too good to him. Rangers have given him too much, mate, and been loyal to him from to day at to our club, in my opinion.
Did I hear you right there? Did you see that with the possibility of a big transfer, you wouldn't play Alfredo? Did I pick you up wrong?
Yes, I wouldn't play him, mate. I wouldn't play him.
Why?
Just because I think Jimmy, my reasons for it are, if we're planning doing anything this season, maybe the money for Alfredo is part of that plan, mate. Maybe he's part of that plan. Let him go and reinvest in real quality. That's the only reason, mate. That's the only reason.
That's your question then, right? If he did drop Alfredo for Saturday, who would he put in his place? And if whoever the person he put in his place, the player, and we didn't perform the way we hoped to perform, and we get banged 2 or 3 or 4 nothing, do you think Steven Gerrard would be, his job would be safe on Monday, according to a lot of people?
If we get banged 3 or 4 nothing, it's no Morelos. It's a problem, is it?
No. I'm not talking about that. If we didn't have a strike, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if we've not got a striker and the result goes what.
Let's just say we've not got a striker and we drew nothing each, right?
Right, okay, we'll go that right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I get your point.
I'm a bit to the extreme, but that to me that's not acceptable. He's a Rangers player first and foremost, and he was
if I'm Douglas Park and I've got £15 million in the bank and you want 12 of that to go and spend on somebody, if I'm making the negotiations, Morelos no starting on Saturday if that's the scenario.
That's what I'm getting at.
If he's leaving next week, mate.
Well, I mean, I think the way that the league fixtures come out, as you rightly said there earlier on, is a certain.
They're just random, Jimmy. There's no favourite.
I know. I'm saying that. The computer randomly picked it, but their games is. But look, this first game of the season.
I think when that computer spits them out, mate, they've got to get them translated because they come out in Latin. Then we get them.
But Camelot don't use that computer because there's only going to be one winner. They win a lottery every week.
For us to get that fixture first, I've not got any fear about playing Aberdeen, but and the chance that we don't come away with the result we want to get, and then we know that the computer picked that smelly mob at home.
But they're always going to beat home, aren't they?
Aye, but against the Bolton team, basically they were. No, I mean that's what you could say. So, I'm 100% disagree with you. I would play him whether there was speculation of transfer or no. He's a Rangers player, and for me, he's paid to put the ball in the net for the Rangers, and holding him back to see if somebody next week's going to buy him is a no for me. He's a Rangers player that should be playing.
I get you, Jimmy, I really do. But I think Rangers are good enough to beat Aberdeen on Saturday without him, mate. I do. I really do. I'm
with Jimmy. He's a Rangers player. We pay his wages at the moment. And this is a big game at the weekend. First game of the season against Aberdeen. He's got to play. If he's fit and ready to go, he's got to play. It's simple as that. I don't think you can think ahead to next week or the week after or the end of the transfer window and the possibility of what you might be able to bring in money-wise from.
It depends how far down the road. If you're starting to sign deals and all that, and you're not going to gamble on 15, 20,
no chance.
Million.
You got to remember, Rudy, that Gerrard's already admitted himself that he learnt a lesson with that Scottish Cup carry-on when he played in the Scottish Cup, and he got booked, and that was him out for the semi-final. And look what happened in that game with that big trumpet Sadiq at centre forward. So he's learnt his lesson. I know it's a sort of different scenario, but he's learnt his lesson about taking chances with players.
Well, what do you do then, Albert, as far as strikers go? If you don't play him on Saturday, who do you play?
Greg Stewart.
Barker.
Up front. Barker.
No, I'm not joking, Barker. That's why he was putting them on.
He's played well, I'll give you that. Compared to last season, Barker's no done.
And he's going to play with the dummy 9 sort of carry on again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's two different options, but what I will say, if that scenario does come to fruition, and I'll take this to young Stardog again before I go back to Wales, what it's been proven is we're one striker short, and we've took a hell of a gamble to get there, Stardog. Because if any of these scenarios come to fruition, we are one striker short, unless they're saying that Greg Stewart's a man, and it doesn't look as if Stevie G fancies him, does it?
No, he's not really featured too much in the pre-season games, mate. And even if you look back last season when he did come on and do well, he never ever got a run in the team ops there. So JFK's been saying this for months, mate. We've left ourselves well and truly short. Jermaine Defoe pulls up with an injury just before the season starts. Then obviously this with Morelos. Portbear, I can't believe. I think you've been in your missus' top drawer or something, because I can't believe you're saying But you would have Morelos in your squad and no use him. Like, it's Alfredo Morelos, mate. If he's in that team, you play him every single time. Because if it's going to be his last game, then we want a good performance out of him.
I know that, mate. But I think he deals a lot further down the line than we think. I really do.
Cut across you. We've been joined by a caller. Hey, Alex. How we doing, Alex?
How we doing, Alex? Yeah. Hiya. How we doing, lads? You alright?
Alright, mate.
Alright, mate. You'll never forget that phone number, will you?
Well, it's a belter, isn't it?
Aye.
1690. Yeah, beauty.
How we doing, mate? What's on your mind?
No, I was just listening to his discussion about the Morelos deal, and it was just the answer, potential Morelos deal. It was just the answer that the caller, I don't know if he's still there, but he says basically you can wave bye-bye to 55 if you sell, Alfredo.
That was real.
Right, I don't know if he's still on or not, but I totally
I'm still here, mate.
No, anyways, pal.
We're trying to get rid of him, but he'll not take the hint.
Listen, I respect his viewpoint like everybody else, but I totally disagree with him because I'll tell you why. Klopp at Liverpool sold Coutinho to Barcelona for 160 million. He went out and bought a goalkeeper, Alisson and Van Dijk, and look at the difference in Liverpool now. What a team they've turned out to be just for strengthening positions in his team that he needed to. So if Gerrard goes out there and buys a couple of quality, strikers or whatever, that could make a difference between us winning the title and no.
What we'd like to know, and maybe if Stevie G's not doing anything tomorrow night after the bounce game, he could come on and let us know. We'd make him welcome.
That would be nice, aye.
We'd like to know where he would like to strengthen. I'd like to know what he thinks, Alec. We obviously need a striker, he admitted that, but where else does he think we're short? And I think we're short of a creative midfielder. We can talk about Durant types, we can talk about anything you like, but somebody else that creates as well as Aribo, because there's too much pressure on that boy.
Is there not an easy answer?
Sorry, mate. Aribo's had a great start to the season, though, hasn't he? I think between him, Hadji and Kent, I think you could be looking at 40 goals out of them this year. I really do, the way they've started. But do you mean the last time... Sorry, Carver, that I mentioned the last time. You said that he was 8 million for Midtjylland. He was actually, I looked a wee bit into it after that. 3.1 million euros is what Midtjylland bought him for.
And how much do you think he's going for now? He just got him to the league title, didn't he?
He did, but 4 or 5 million I think you could get for him.
Interesting, aye. Wheels will give you a right to reply, mate.
Aye, mate. Right, listen. See, I get what you're saying, mate, right, about what Klopp done and all that, right? But that's a completely different level. Do you know what I mean? In quality, you're not going to get that kind of quality. You come to Rangers, it's just not going to happen. The problem is, if we let Alfie go, I just don't see it. Too many people talk about players. There's been a lot of talk about players like Dykes and Cosgrove and all that kind of carry on. That ain't the level we need this season. If you notice, Wheels, we signed players that nobody's. McLaughlin came in the door. We didn't hear about it. The big boy that was signed for Wigan / Brighton, bang in the door. Nobody's heard about it. The Scottish media have got to write about something. No, it's not the media, but it's the fans that are actually talking about these players. I've seen the fans talking about these
what does
players.
that mean? What does that mean? Apart from us who were real informed, intelligent people on here. Is that right, JFK?
The fans are reading it.
The point is...
The fans don't sign anybody. It's Ross Wilson and Stevie G.
The point I'm making is for this season, we need to be aiming, if we are going to replace Alfie, it needs to be with somebody with a proven goal scoring record at a high level.
Who?
Exactly. It's not going to happen. That's my point.
Where does he play?
That's that's the point I'm making. We can't let him go because we're not going to replace him with that level.
You don't replace him.
How do you know?
With one player. You don't replace him with one player. You replace him with two players. You don't need one player to come in and score 30 goals. You bring two players and score 15 goals each.
Yeah.
I've just a wee trivia question for you. I know maths isn't your strong point, Wheels. We've had 4 pre-season friendlies. How many goals have we scored?
We've scored 2.
Come on, they made them all even numbers to make it easy for you.
10.
Well done, mate. Well done. Top of the class. Leave your books. You'll not be long. And just out of curiosity, how many's Morelos scored?
I take your point. Aye.
Right. Thanks for the call. Don't be a stranger.
Erase my case, Your Honour.
Right.
I put it to you, sir. Your client, sir.
You can't say that about games that don't matter. It doesn't matter. That's like saying, that's like the people that say, "Oh, he's rubbish because he's not scored against Celtic."
No, heard anybody say. No, I know. Heard one person say that tonight. Morelos is rubbish.
No, I'm not.
But Morelos, you can't build a football team around one guy, mate. If he gets injured, Alex, in you come, mate.
No, I 100% agree with you, and I thought that was magnificent. You went about that there, Your Honour.
It's not my first time.
He likes to get one up on me. He does.
That's what you call back of the net.
me and Ox we've got a love-hate in a relationship.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all.
I know you've missed me, really.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Right, Alex, in you come. One man doesn't make a team. We can make all the planning right. Morelos stays the same. We give him a 4-year contract on Friday. Double his wages.
Mm-hmm.
Does his cruciate. You've got a plan. You know, it's football, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong, and Morelos is a focal point in the team, the way we play. And I agree with you, actually. I thought against Coventry there, I thought Morelos actually had a cracking game. The only thing that was lacking in his game was a goal. But he was bringing play, bringing guys into play all the time. And it was him with the 1-2 with Aribo that opened the scoring. He's a cracking player, Morelos. Nobody's kind of questioning that. We're just kind of questioning his mentality, his petulance a wee bit. All these things kick in, and it just looks as if his heat's scrambled in it with the whole lot. So we might be, if we get good money, round about the 20 million, I would take that and hopefully line up a couple of signings. I mean, the boy Brewster keeps popping up, but you wouldn't get him to probably the end of August because he's still involved with the playoffs with Swansea. So, but he's a cracking boy.
That could finish this week, mate. Could
be.
Their ties this week. I mean, it'll be an interesting time to sign somebody for England because what they're saying is they're wanting to get 30 days break.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not getting any holidays, and the union might take it up that these guys have got to get their holidays. So the football's went crazy, Port Bear.
100%, mate. I just think, after they meet the manager and we were in the manager's ears, surely he can say to them, look, just never mind your holidays, you're playing for Glasgow Rangers at the end of the day. You're going to be Man U number 9, say it's going to be to replace Morelos. So would a footballer really care about 30 days holiday, mate? I don't know. I particularly wouldn't. If it's playing the beautiful game, mate, I would more than gladly take to the pitch. But listen, the gaffer's got a difficult decision, in my opinion. Oxford, he's got some of the hardest decisions to make in his career. It's a massive career for himself and a massive year for himself. Could make or break him, can it? He's got to get it right, mate. He's got to get this right. This could be his making him. It could be breaking him, mate, but he's got to get it right. And the best of luck to him.
They've got a strategy, haven't they? They've got the strategy. Who leaves? Morelos leaves. get X amount to spend. If he stays, we've got X amount to spend, or Y amount to spend. That's the question, isn't it?
That is the question, mate, but you touched on it earlier, Oxley. You know, business in general has been quiet until it's right there on your doorstep. You know, there's either somebody coming in or there's somebody left. That's the way the club are running things now, mate. That's the way we've been saying the past couple of months. You know, it's much improved. We love the way they're doing it. They're giving the media nothing. I believe 75% of this, mate, is made up in the media and things like that, but the more I look into it and the more I see it, mate, I just think he's probably looked at himself and thought, you know, it's time to move on. Who we bring in, mate, I honestly don't have a clue, actually. It's going to be such a hard player to replace, but I know for a fact that the club have seen this coming, mate. The fans have seen this coming, so Steven Gerrard and his team will have a plan in place, mate. I would imagine they would have 2 or 3 targets there, backup targets if they can't get one number, whatever. They might bring in 2 strikers, mate. They probably need to if Alfredo goes anyway. But, you know, they might bring in 2 or 3 strikers. We don't know. We don't know, mate. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see if he starts on Saturday as well. You know, it's a big season for us all, mate.
If he starts on Saturday, mate, that sort of suggests he's no gone. Yeah, in some respects.
I'm a Rangers fan through and through, mate. So to me, you know, I can't imagine why you wouldn't be happy at a club like this challenging for winning titles and things like that and winning trophies. But I'll let you go to the caller, Rocks.
All right, evening, caller.
How you doing, guys?
You everybody your name, mate?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm Alan. I live in Hampshire. Long time listener, first time caller.
All right, Hampshire. Big county, mate. Whereabouts? Where are you close to?
16 miles outside. No, actually, I'm 16 miles north of Portsmouth, a town called Petersfield.
All right, okay. I know where you are, mate. I know where you are.
Aye. Ex-Faithfully boy.
Faithfully, Clydebank. We don't have many for there, Rangers supporters. David GFK, many for there. 64, eh?
That's a Badlands. That's just student for me. Faithfully, Dundalk. You should be a pub up there.
But Dundalk and Faithfully is 2 different entities.
But
anyway, guys. Morelos, I think most of this story's been made up by the press.
I don't disagree with you, mate. The EPL's finished. The Scottish football's starting at the weekend. We need who's the biggest story in Scottish football? Stevie G, Morelos. We need a story.
Yeah, but also it was perfect timing because the story broke as soon as the folk injured. So they knew the Rangers were left with possibly 1.5 strikers, i.e. Greg Stewart. So why not target Morelos? Feed out false stories. I would really like for Rangers to come out and actually tell us what the story is. Is it true? Is it false?
Oh, I'll tell you now, the club will not contemplate speculation or talking about every story that's mentioned on the internet, mate.
Well, I know they're really... No, I like the way Rangers are performing business right now. It's absolutely fantastic. Keeping everything watertight. And I do like that. I really love that. Feed the press nothing. But for the sake of our nerves, is he staying or going?
Well, Morelos is just a player, isn't he? He's got a price. And if that price matched, he'll go. It doesn't matter what we think or we want him to stay. Bigger players have left Rangers. Gascoigne and Laudrup both left Rangers. At times it wasn't perfect for us, but we still moved on. Wasn't ideal, but we still moved on.
But at least with Laudrup's seen off his contract.
Yeah, and that was a mistake, wasn't it? Because the last year he never kicked a ball.
Well, that's, I think, he's more protecting himself. But I mean, you can still say that he's still seen his contract to the end. It was 4 years. They had offers in the 3rd year for him to move on. But he says, no, I'm staying at Rangers. See my contract. I thought that was actually good of him.
But I don't think he done that. I think he got bribed to stay at Rangers. And I think it's one of the worst decisions in Rangers history to keep him on for that last year, mate. Because he got offered the captaincy, if you remember, to stay, and he stayed. And I calculated it out roughly. No very great science behind it, but roughly that whole deal was signing him and then keeping him that year and no selling him. It cost Rangers about £11 million. So it was a bad decision because. But as Ox said, he never kicked his bum that last season for various reasons, I'd imagine. But he really didn't play well.
But back those days, Rangers weren't actually selling players on. because we had the money behind it, we had the finance behind us, so we never actually sold it. We never contemplated selling a big player on. We let them run it out, then move them on. Rangers. What was the highest selling for a Rangers player?
For Bronckhorst a wee bit further on.
My point is, if you've not got a happy player, let them go. I don't believe in keeping unhappy players. So
do you think
Laudrup was one to go. Sorry, mate.
Do you think Morelos will start on Saturday?
Me?
Aye.
Definitely, aye.
Do you think
definitely.
he'll start on Saturday, the caller? Do you think he'll start?
I think he will start on Saturday. And I actually think he'll probably bag himself 2 goals as well.
And what's the score going to be?
I think we'll squeeze maybe 3-0, maybe even 4-0. It'll be a tough, don't get me wrong, it'll be a tough game. But do you know something? We've got it in our locker. It's just whether or not we turn up on the day. What I've seen in the pre-seasons, we looked fantastic. We didn't get threatened at all. We were talking about Leon and Nice playing against them. They threatened the goal, but it wasn't to the point where I think McGregor only had maybe 2 saves in one of the game, and I think the new boy, John McLaughlin, maybe had about 2 saves. The defence looked a lot more in tune with each other. They were talking to each other.
I think we were all surprised, pleased, but we're not getting carried away because it's only friendlies, are Wheels?
When did we ever go into a match not expecting to win?
No, but
even if it's a friendly game, I still want Rangers to go in and win. Perform the best you can because you're playing for that badge on your chest.
Wheels.
Friendlies to me, mate. They're all about getting the fitness up and working out what your style of play is going to be for the season ahead. Results don't really matter to me in friendlies, if I'm honest. You want to see it doing well, which we have done. We've not conceded any goals, which is really good as well. One thing I have noticed in the friendlies, I don't know if you have noticed yourselves, but crossing has been brilliant. We've pinged in a right good few crosses. See if we had a big tall boy on the end of those, we could have scored a barrel load. I think that was one of our biggest problems last season was, our crossing was terrible at times. For having that,
Anyway, who was coming in there? Who was coming in? Try to come in.
Oh, sorry, it was myself. Coming in. I would sooner see Rangers in the pre-season friendlies win every match. Gives me a bad confidence getting in. But if I see Rangers going out pre-season friendlies and losing, it doesn't give me the hope for that season coming. And it's okay being optimistic, but I look at the bright side of things. When I see Rangers play, I see Rangers win, friendly or competition, I'm happy. It gives me the pickup. It makes me feel, well, I don't need to tell you, you are all Rangers supporters as well, but you're very kind of like charged with positive. I personally think myself, I think it will come down to the trips up to the north of Scotland at the cold and winter's night. But I think we'll do well this year. I think we'll do a hell of a lot better.
I hope you're right. Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening.
No, already, is it?
Aye.
Jeez, what a night. What a night.
Big Steve will be sound asleep.
Aye. Poor Stevie. Congratulations, big man, anyway, to you and Myla.
That woman's got a lot to put up with. What do you think, GFK?
Aye, she's got a cross to bear with a big man now, but
mate,
she's got a heart of gold.
Oh, I know. Listen, can I thank all the callers? Too numerous to mention tonight. The first show of 2020-21 season. Thanks to everybody joining us on the phone line. Thanks to Allbear. Thanks to the Fox, GFK, and of course Bridgeman, Port Bear, Rudy Bear, Stardug. But I've got to say a big special thanks to Wheels because we have missed you really.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Just a wee message to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly on Rangers Radio. Keep it going for the Rangers because the Rangers need you. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 9 and 11 talking about all things Rangers, and you never know. Might still be talking about Alfredo Morelos. Take it away, Fox.
Night.
We are the people.
I sailed the wild Atlantic, crossed the broad Pacific shore. I sailed around the stormy capes and I've heard the 40s roar. I've flying the Indian Ocean, I've sailed the China Sea, but there's a sea back home in Scotland, more than all the rest to me. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my God. It's the greenest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, blue, blue sea of my God. And it's not on the really just play a screen. No more I'll sail the seven seas, no more I'll ever roam. No more I'll feel the urge again, I'm back where I belong. And 3 o'clock each Saturday I'll join the mighty throng. With flags and banners all around, I'll proudly sing this song.